Welcome back to the Citizen Lounge at Marvel Live. What you just saw was Marvel's Daredevil, exclusively on Netflix. Season 3 premieres October 19th. And we have a special guest here for us today, Sina Grace, the writer of Iceman, that just came out September 12th, the first issue.
Yeah, and Daredevil, Season 3, October 19th.
And we're here in the Citizen Lounge.
Yeah.
I mean,
And the Citizen Lounge.
could it be much better?
It can't.
No, I'm so
be more
happy
epic.
right now, you don't even know.
So Sina, September 12th, the first issue just came out.
Yes,
You are
sure.
in the thick of the ice storm.
Ooh.
Ooh, clever, right? Wrote that down a couple weeks ago. He's paired up with Bishop.
Yeah.
What was the decision behind that pairing?
So, I wanted two characters with different perspectives handling the same conflict. And a character that, like, I feel he's had some screen time lately with Astonishing X-Men, but I really just wanted to give Bishop more to do in the X-Men universe. And I like that they were both, like, they have been on teams together, but if you go back, they don't really have incredibly meaningful interactions. So I just thought, okay, it'd be really fun to take this guy who's so serious and put him with Bobby, who's, like, you know, I write him like a very kooky fellow.
Making dad jokes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm leaning in hard, and, like, it's great to, like, see people being like, yeah, well, we're going to have to accept that as a given from here on out. But, yeah, and then on top of that, I think Bishop's an interesting character because he's all about preventing a future that should not happen or exist. He's always thinking about the future, and Bobby is too in a different way because he's now reclaiming his life and he's sort of leaning into his Omega level badassery. So it works on a story level and then on a deeper level, like where these two characters are and what they represent in their separate journeys. Yeah. So sorry, I got like real deep.
No, I love it. Yeah.
Speaking of real deep, underground, what's going on with Morlocks? If somebody is not familiar, say they only have like a movie level idea of the X-Men world, what's going on with Morlocks?
So Morlocks are mutants that are just so visibly mutant that they are further marginalized and further bullied and antagonized. And so they tend to live in the sewers. They tend to kind of steer away from society because society rejects them. And in this story, they are being hunted down, and you're not sure what the intention or motivation is, and we find out that it's sort of a mutant massacre, Volume 2, which means Mr. Sinister is behind it. Bobby doesn't know that in Issue 1, but the Morlocks are just like, we're trying to do our thing, and like, someone's hunting us, like, and so Iceman and Bishop, is their team-up name, duo name.
Bishman.
Yeah, someone was like, come on, you can do a better name than that. And I was like,
no.
I don't know. I live in, like, celebrity couple names, and I can't figure out how to make Bishop and Iceman a funnier...
I like Ice-Ship.
I love Ice-Ship. Ice-Ship's great. Sounds like my Jewish cousin.
Down in Queens or whatever.
Yeah.
Ice-Ship.
I don't know what they're talking about.
So yeah, so Ice-Ship go down. They go down to the catacombs and to the sewers, and they meet a handful of new Morlocks because a lot of Morlocks had also left Manhattan for people who really, really aren't caught up on X-Men lore. And basically, instead of fixing the problem with a Band-Aid for them, as the X-Men tend to do, if there's a conflict, they're like, we got this. The Morlocks were like, yeah, but what happens tomorrow and the day after? And so instead they kind of work together to tell these faux marauders, like, you can't come back here. Like, the Morlocks outnumber you, they outpower you, so back off. And I thought that was like a really lovely message in terms of how to be within communities you're not necessarily a part of and how to help them and be an ally to them.
Yeah.
Super important right now.
Yeah, I think so. That's kind of, with this new Iceman arc, the first series was so much about him being cool with himself and getting comfortable in his own skin. And now that he is, for as much as he can be, you know, it's all about that now. It's like, how can we take care of others? How can we be there for others? Because there's a right way and a wrong way to do that, it turns out. And that's kind of going to be part of Bobby's journey over these next few issues.
We also saw him in the first issue being almost like a leader to these Morlocks. And it's funny because he calls himself the class clown. So how do you do that duality of now he's leading this team, but also a class clown?
I'm gonna go the long way to talk about this.
We got plenty of time here at the Citizen Lounge.
Okay, hey, yeah, you know, all right, okay, all right. So Kathleen Hanna was in a band called La Tigra, super cool punk rock singer from the Riot Girl days. In her documentary, she talks about her Valley Girl accent and where she got it from. And I guess her and her sister, like, loved these movies that always, you know, took place in Southern California where people say like and all the time. And she's incredibly intelligent, well-read, capable of having super deep, heavy conversations, but she says like and all the time. And there's a line in the movie where she says something along, you know, she's like, just because I say like and all the time, like, doesn't mean what I have to say is any less important than what you have to say. Yeah. And I think about that with Bobby. He may still be a goofball, but like that's not going to stop him from being really good at what he does.
Yes.
And I don't want anyone to think that. You know what I mean? We should never. I think we should all be learning our courtesy and our manners and stuff like that. But you know, don't work against who you are at your core. Just, you know, be you and better than be the best version of you.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. So this is a question that I think says a lot about one's core. So I'd like to know your answer, but also Bobby Drake's answer. Is ice in a drink meant for chewing?
Ooh.
God, no.
Heavy hitting questions.
No.
Heavy hitting questions.
The only people who can chew ice, and they're not people, are dogs. It's so cute watching a dog chew ice.
Does Henry chew ice?
Henry, my dog, internet. No, he's still confused by it.
Huh.
Like, I'll put ice cubes in his water on summer days, and he's kind of like, what? But I have seen people's dogs chew it, and it's just adorable. You know, and just because I always try to assert that Bobby Drake and I are different people,
right?
I'll say he likes to chew ice. Oh, he would.
He would?
He would. I don't know.
In a movie?
Yeah.
I'm
Sean
that guy.
Ashmore. Yeah.
Right?
Off between scenes.
Well, like I feel like the average drink doesn't have texture, you know?
Are you an ice chewer?
I was going to say, are you an ice chewer?
100%. I will chew ice like it's going out of style.
Okay, wait. Like the little coffee bean ice chunklets or like a big cube?
Square,
if I feel as though I won't do any dental damage, I'm chewing that.
Really?
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt?
No, I love it. It feels good to me. I don't know why.
You're like a rock star.
I wouldn't go that far.
I would, though.
Okay, shucks.
He chews
you heard it here
You
first,
heard it
guys.
here.
Oh, my
Sina
God.
Grace, Justin Warner,
Yeah.
rock star.
Please, somebody note the date and time. Sina Grace called me a rock star.
Citizen Lounge,
Go to my
rock
Twitter
star.
bio.
All you got to do is chew ice.
That's it.
So the main theme about this issue in the series is...
By the way, that citizen clock doesn't work.
It's actually
none of these
616, 616.
Oh, my God.
Ooh.
Oh, baller.
Yeah, right? Easter eggs in the lounge.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
so,
right?
like, is there a tie-in to, like, the fourth Avengers movie that I'm not...
Yeah, right? The title of Marvel Studios' fourth Avengers movie is somewhere on this lounge.
I believe it. I wouldn't put it past you.
Yeah, right? It's not, folks. It's not. So the main theme is identity in this series that you want to hit on. Talk about how you'll go into that and you know, really talk about his identity in this series.
You know, you'd think I'd be so equipped to answer that, and for some reason I'm all like, and I'm literally like writing emails to my editors all the time being like, identity this, identity that, and I don't know why I'm having a brain fart about it, but that's what happens when you live stream. You know what it is? I'm wearing compression underwear to fit in these jeans, and I think it's messing me up.
You and me both, buddy.
all three of us.
You know, so...
Does Bobby Drake believe in compression pants? I mean...
He doesn't need to. I've actually... Okay, thank you for that pivot. We'll come back to the heavy identity talk. Because I, like, think about it all the time. I'm like, you know, he doesn't need to work out. He could technically, like, ice sculpt.
Just change himself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, like, and there's that, like, you know, people, like, freeze the fat away. Like...
Oh, yeah. I've seen that.
So he never has to do that. But he's also, like, really athletic. Like, I think, what was it, in issue 3 or 4, like, him and Kitty are, like, talking about who woke up earlier to, like, start working out. But identity, to me, okay, so when we talk about mutants and we talk about the idea of self-acceptance and we talk about mutant powers and we talk about being the best version of yourself, it all goes hand in hand with sort of where you are with your mental health and where you are with you and like being able to kind of communicate with your soul. That is terrible what I just said.
But no, and your community and who you surround yourself with.
Yeah, and I think and so I wish I had like a less mental health holistic version of that answer because I do, but I'm just tired.
It's Comic-Con.
I don't know.
Right?
I think it's a perfectly good answer. I think we're all well equipped to understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But and I guess that's what I go back to with the series is even as early as Emma Frost in what was it, the like Uncanny 290s or something, where she's like, "You're not living up to your potential," and
she
he's like,
him.
"What do you mean?" And she's like, "You know what I mean." Like all of that ties back into like, if Bobby Drake is good with himself, and if Bobby Drake really believes in himself, and also gets more in touch with all that goes on inside, then he can be a better mutant. You know, he can be a better hero. And again, that's what it all comes back to is like, okay, this is all tying into where are these like Omega level like action set pieces? Like, why isn't he doing it more often? Why is he always in the way back of the group poster, like on a sled? Like,
I'm here, guys.
Yeah, like it's like, all right, let's get him front and center, but that is a journey, and that is all about sort of reconciling things with your identity and being good with yourself.
So we
landed that plane.
Sorry, we just got a question from one of your legions of fans. They used the Marvel NYCC hashtag to ask the question, do you ever write to music?
Yes. I talk about this a lot. If you do some deep diving on like my Instagram or whatever, I even post like which musicians I'll listen to for which character.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, like when I was writing Doc Hen, he was listening to way harder stuff than what I'd listen to when I was writing Iceman, Bobby himself. So, like, Doc Hen listens to Health, Dirty Beaches, Nine Inch Nails, I guess Rage Against the Machine, even though I didn't have that on the playlist. But he's just like, you know, he goes hard.
Yeah.
And then with Iceman, it's like, I'll even listen to stuff I don't personally like. Like, I always joke, I'm like, I don't really like The Weeknd, but Bobby Drake likes The Weeknd. You know what I mean?
Well, this has been enlightening.
Thank you.
Yes.
Are you kicking me out?
I personally am not, but the person waving the clipboard right over there would like me to thank you and talk about what's coming up next in the Citizen Lounge.